Welcome to the latest episode of Meanderings, Musings and Movies, my folk drama channel, which hopes to bring you some interesting programmes and films that you might have overlooked. Now, today's episode is about a West Country tale. The West Country Tales was a lovely little couple of seasons, 1982, 1983, shown on the BBC, about half an hour long each. And many of them were influenced by suggestions sent in by viewers. Now, today's episode is from the second season, and it's called Ring-a-Ring-a Rosy. It features narration by Keith Barron and stars Nanette Newman and Tamar LaBailey. Now, many of these episodes in West Country Tales are not really supernatural, but they have something disturbing. They're rural, and I think they epitomise what is folk drama as opposed to folk horror. I think they are quite exquisite little tales, told in a way that is rare. They're narration heavy, and there's often little dialogue. So this is the first one that I want to talk about, Ring-a-Ring-a Rosy from the second series. I'm not really sure when it's set, maybe Victorian times, maybe the early 20th century. It stars Nanette Newman and Tamar LaBailey and is narrated by Keith Barron. It's set in Somerset and it's a rural idyll, beautiful scenery, really good shots. But it's about a mother and her daughter. The father died 16 years ago, we're told, overseas in service. So not really sure what that says about the timing, but it's a while ago. Anyway, the mother is bringing up the daughter Ellen, and they don't have much interaction with the outside world. Ellen is played wonderfully by Nanette Newman. It's really good character, really good portrayal. I think it's a really, really nice piece of work by Nanette Newman. So they have this ideal. The Ellen is growing up. She's being looked after by her mother, who's obviously doing her schooling, and it's described in the story as a fairy tale existence. But like all fairy tales, there is a little sting in the story. Ellen isn't perfect. She likes to destroy things, she likes to kill things. She doesn't seem to think it's wrong, but she knows it's wrong because her mother said so. So she tries to hide the evidence of her doings. As the narrator puts it, after sacrifice for cleansing. And that's when she's gutting a fish by the river and then cleans her apron. So that's the setting. We see them looking after doves, and then we see a dove being buried. So that's the kind of going on. And then one day, Ellen is playing in the garden. She's about 18 now, I think. It's hard to tell. But a boy comes into the area, into the garden, as the narrator puts it, with romantic notions. Basically, he's heard about Ellen, and he wants to see her. He probably wants to save her in some way. Well, after an iffy start, Ellen gets nervous, runs away. He brings her some poetry. The mother intercepts it, passes the poetry on. Ellen can't read, but they get together, and it's a nice little scene. It's a nice little setup until the young man, whose name is Paul, suggests that a dog would be a nice addition for Ellen. Now, Ellen's mother quite understandably thinks that would be a bad idea, and says so. She tells Paul that would not be a good idea and not to mention it again. Unfortunately, Ellen overhears her saying that and gets cross. Next thing we know, Ellen, somewhat cross, goes off in the woods with Paul. He's promising to, you know, well, no, she asks him to promise to give the dog, and he says no, he can't go against her mother. So then they go off into the woods. When Ellen returns, she's distraught. Paul isn't anywhere around, and the viewer at this point is kind of sees where the story is going. So that's the encapsulation of that episode. It's beautifully filmed. It's got some really eerie moments. There is that disposition between what it would be every day and the disturbing bits. I think it encapsulates what folk drama is, and I think it's well worth going out, tracking down. I think it's on YouTube. I think it's on DVD. Well worth looking, as are many of the other West Country tales, and I will be talking about several more of them in future videos. So if you've liked this video, please like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Take care.